The wait is finally over, all the hype is finally done. We now have the new Nikon mirrorless full-frame cameras, the Nikon Z6 and Z7, or Z6 and Z7, however you want to say it. Very, very interesting. We're going to break it down kind of. I'm not going to get too crazy compared to a lot of the other channels out there and how they're probably going to do it, but let's just kind of talk about them and see why Nikon coined the terms mirrorless reinvented, capture tomorrow. Listen, I want to capture tonight. And also, that being said, I'm very perturbed that there was no glowing LED type mount, because your promo videos, that look pretty cool. It's not a thing. So the interesting part about them, and you saw this in a bunch of the leaked stuff, is how the body looks in general, and the bodies look in general, and they really do look like Sony cameras for the most part. You still do have the little red marking on the right side of the grip and everything, but it just shows you that it also has a little bit bigger and better ergonomic grip as well, which is something that I prefer. And that's what they said they kind of borrowed from the D850 to an extent, and that's why it's a little bit bigger than what Sony looks like in some regards. But that being said, I think it looks like a very small, compact camera, and I think it's going to serve exactly as it should, and it's not going to be heavy at all. It's mirrorless now. Nikon did it. I figure one of the easiest ways to talk about these are to really go over the main differences first and then some of the similarities, because they share a lot of them. That being said, let's break them down. So the Z6 is roughly $2,000 body only, with a kit with a 24-70 f4 lens. It's about $2,600. Once again, all this is in US. The Z7 is $3,400 body only and $4,000 with the kit lens. Essentially, the kit lens is $600 when you buy them with a body. I'll cover lenses and stuff like that in the future, but it's a $1,000 lens regardless. So you save a little bit of money. Since either you A, are getting into these and you don't have any lenses, or B, we could talk about the adapter soon, you can adapt your lenses and maybe save like $600 there as well. The Z6 I think will be the more popular one for the more consumers or prosumers, because that $2,000 is going to come with a 24.5 megapixel sensor, which is something you see in pretty much a lot of what Nikon has out there, and that's pretty much the standard mark for what's out there right now. But the Z6 is the more high resolution model. You see what Nikon's trying to kind of compete here with Sony to an extent, and they have a 45.7 for their Z7 as well. So higher resolution, you're going to get more detail and everything. It's just different price points. The Z6 has 273 autofocusing points, while the Z7 has a fantastic 493, which has about 90% coverage. But interestingly enough, these are still nowhere near where at least the Sony A7 III is, with like 693 AF points. So Nikon's still slacking there to an extent, but for what these are, it's probably going to work out well. Nikon has a great tracking system, especially for the photography side of things. Still wondering video though. The Z6 has a optical low pass filter, but the Z7 does not. And I think that's going to be a big differentiating thing for people, because, I mean, personally, I don't care about the filter, but I know a lot of people get very, very passionate about it. So once again, if you want that higher resolution, you're not going to have to worry about having that filter there. So keep that in mind for something like that. ISO range, you're going to do a little bit better with the lower pixels. 100 to 51,200, obviously extended. And then you have the Z7, which is 64 to 25,600. So big range right there. The last main difference is you'll see the Z6 is 12 frames per second, while the Z7 is 9 frames per second. But now let's just talk about what's similar, since they're kind of all the same, but I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm also going to call these more of the pros of everything and stuff that really stands out for these two cameras, and then the cons and some of the things that I think should have been there. But some of the pros: it has a very, very bright EVF. Especially the Z6 has a much brighter EVF over the Sony A7 III, which I didn't mind. I thought it was pretty clear in itself, but a lot of people did have problems with that. It has 5-axis in-body stabilization, which is actually amazing. I don't know Canon would do something like that, but they match Sony in that regards, and that's a big thing Nikon could do. They do have 4K video, 30 frames per second, not 60, I'll cover that. Full 1080 video as well at 120 FPS. Big thing is it's full width, no crop, and that is something that was big, because a lot of this cropping in thing isn't popular. You also have N-Log, which is kind of like F-Log and all that kind of stuff. Your more flat video at 10-bit. So not the best out there, but something you can still work with, something still usable. It does have a great little top LCD screen, which reminds me of something on the Fuji X-H1, which I actually really enjoyed. Very clear to see outdoors on a bright sunny day. Some people don't care about having it up top, but it's an easy way to look down and see your settings without having to look through the viewfinder or anything like that. Semi-back touchscreen. It has a joystick. Great. Little small things always work. A mic and headphone jack. So yes, you can monitor your audio. Does have face detection, USB charging, and it will use the ENEL15 battery, which is already out there and actually has a great capacity and should do very, very well compared to some of the other batteries for mirrorless cameras out there. Very excited about that, and that's very positive on their account. I think the biggest thing a lot of people looked out for, especially for events and wedding photographers, is silent shooting. You have silent shooting now. Welcome to the mirrorless world, Nikon. So now I had to break this down to some of the cons, and you do get a low bitrate for video. It's not going to have a greatest range compared to some of the others out there, so that's one big thing. No eye autofocus. Now, Fuji has it as well. I don't find it to be that great, but I mean, Sony has fantastic IAF and can go through a lot of their A7 line to find that, and it is spot on for exactly what it is. No 4K 60 frames per second. I was hoping, Nikon would kind of reach a little bit more and provide something a little bit more, so they're not going to blow you away there. You're going to get that full 30, which is absolutely fine. And I kind of expected Nikon to not, because they were never really the video feature anyway. I would expect Canon to do something pretty crazy there, so we'll see with whatever they do. One of the most annoying things, and the thing that really has me puzzling, is there is one memory card slot, and it is an XQD card slot. Now, they're fast, they're just very expensive. Nikon also announced their own branded XQD card as well, but one single XQD card slot. Very, very, very missed opportunity. If anything, make it dual. And kind of the last thing is the lackluster availability, the lenses that are out. Prime lenses are definitely easier to produce and make. You don't have to worry about the zoom and anything like that. But as you see, that's what's announced right now. I'll cover that in a second. And the last thing is the adapter to use your F-mount lenses is not included for free, like some others have reported without knowing actual information. So how it's going to work is you can buy a camera and it'll, as a bundle, you can get it for $150. Brand new, it'll be $250. So it kind of sucks that they didn't throw it in there, but you really didn't expect them to do that. It's a business move, and it's an easy transition from using your current F-mount lenses, which go back to eons and eons, to being able to get a newer camera and use it on that until more lenses are developed. And really some kind of last notes to talk about are once again what is coming out. Nikon did also say they're working on a MB-N10 battery grip that's being developed as we speak. It is also, there's more lenses out there, a 24-70 f4, 50 1.8, and a 35 1.8, all various ones. I'm going to link down below to a roadmap video of what to expect from Nikon for their mirrorless lens line coming up. So to really wrap it up, I think Nikon did have a lot of wins with this camera, but they still missed out, especially in a lot of the con stuff that I said. It didn't blow off my socks. It didn't really make me go, wow. It did show me that they did try very, very hard, and they listened to a lot of the things out there. But I'm very impressed, especially with the battery choice and everything out there. So there's a lot of pros, a couple big cons, but it's definitely great to see Nikon actually try on something like that. But then that goes to debate, would you want a Z or Z6 or a Sony a7 III? I think I'm going to cover that in a video because there are a lot of big differences there as well, while the price is roughly around the same thing. So that being said, what are your thoughts on everything Z6, Z7, Nikon lens related? Let me know down below. Did any of this stuff from Nikon interest you? Are you waiting for the next Sony? Or are you waiting to see what Canon will do? Let me know your thoughts down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Sub to the channel. Why not? I never ask. Give it a like. A lot of people really like my Nikon Z video here where I made this mirrorless. That was very fun. A lot of people understood that, and some didn't. God bless you. That being said, Z6, Z7, we'll see you in the next couple months, and I'm very excited to hopefully see that probably at Photo Plus.